one of the most critical skill that you need as an entrepreneur or as any business person, anyone participating in the business realm, is the ability to read the consumer markets and the consumer buyer behavior, right? Because, it's very difficult for you to make any sale or the sale of anything if you do not practically understand the concept of consumer markets and the consumer buyer behavior. So in this unit, what we will divulge you to is the understanding of the consumer markets and the consumer buyer behavior. We want to study the behavior of the consumers, because if we actually study the behavior of the consumers, then we can at least find it easy to make the sales. Studying the behavior of consumers is something that is very difficult, because it's more of studying what somebody thinks. But if we do not really understand the aspects, or maybe I would say the forces or the stimuli that influences the decision making of the customers in whether to buy or not to buy what we have to offer to them, then things may really be very difficult if we don't understand that. So what we just study is the conditions or the stimuli that stimulate or that influences the buyers in the process of buying or in the decision-making process. What is it that usually influences them? Right. So the model of consumer behavior is what we want to expose you to, and these are the key elements of the model, as you can just see it right on the screen. So we have the environment part, of which, that was in the project management where we're talking about the environment. Anyway, the business environment is here on the left side. We also have the buyer responses. But in between here, we have what we call the black box. I'll explain how all of them work. So let's start from the marketing stimuli. What is it that is stimulating that individual from buying? Is it the product? Is it the price? Is it the place or the promotion? We commented on the 4 P's of marketing previously. And then we have got other factors that could be economic factors, technological, social, and cultural factors as well. Then under the buyer's black box, you have the characteristics of the buyers, all right, or the buyer's decision-making process. Then you have the response on the other end, where we have the attitudes of the buyers and their preferences, the changes in the tastes of the buyers, the purchase behavior of the buyers, what the buyers actually buy, when do they buy, where do they want to buy from, how much do they want to buy, okay, what brand do they offer homage to, and the relationship that the company has, or the impact that the company has on the clientele base. All those things, they fall under the buyer response. So we will look at all these elements in detail. Let's start with the cultural factors. Number one, about the cultural factors. So culture is actually very crucial when it comes to understanding the needs and the behaviors of individuals, right? So basically, culture is part of every society and is very important cause of person wants and behavior, right? So the influence of the culture on buying behavior usually differs from country to country. Therefore, the marketers have to be very careful when it comes to the analysis of the culture, the culture, because we have got different cultures for different groups of people, the different regions, different countries. And So you can see that throughout the existence, an individual will be influenced by his family, his friends, his cultural environment, society that will teach them the values, the preferences, as well as the common behaviors to their own culture. Now, all these factors will have to be considered as we try to study the consumer or buyer behavior. The aspect of social factors, this includes the reference groups or the aspirational groups or member groups, the family, the roles, the statuses. Actually, it does explain the outside influences of others on our purchase decision, either directly or indirectly. So the social factors are among the factors influencing the consumer behavior significantly, right? They fall under the three groups: the reference groups, the family, and the social roles and statuses, the social factors. Let me pass a comment on let me quickly pass a comment on the reference groups and the membership, right? What about the reference groups, right? On the reference groups and membership, the membership groups of an individual are social groups to which he belongs and which will influence that person, right? So the membership groups are usually related to the social origin, age, place of residence, work, hobbies, leisure, among others. So the groups have the potential in forming the person's attitude or behavior. So you can see that the influence of the reference groups varies across products and brands. For example, if the product is visible, such as maybe a dress, the shoes, the car, among others, then the influence of the reference group will be so high. Okay, so the reference groups also include opinion leaders. That is to say, a person who influences others because of his special skills, their special knowledge, or other characteristics that they have around. So that is how the reference group influences the buying behavior of the people, or how this is how it does contribute in what we are talking about. You have to understand the aspect of the reference groups, because usually people are influenced, have you seen this? This is very crucial in marketing. You see, when if somebody who is so influential, they buy something and you see them maybe wearing that or they're using that, many people would want to say, oh, also me, I want to buy. We also have people that would just want to buy that thing because that person bought, because those people are just a people of influence in the society around. The family does have an impact, right, as well. And it's very important that we also consider the aspect of family. So the family may be the most influencing factor for an individual because it forms the environment of socialization in which an individual will evolve. It will shape the personality, the values. It will also develop the attitudes and the opinions on various subjects, such as the politics, society, social relations, and or the desires. So the family will influence all these things around the individual. So the buyer behavior is strongly influenced by the member of a family. So therefore, the marketers are trying to find the roles and influence of the husband. Let's take, for example, the wife and the children. You have to understand the roles. Let's say if the buying decision of a particular product is influenced by the wife, then the marketers will have to try to influence or market to the wives, make advertisements, strengthen the wives. We know that when the wives consent, then the men will follow suit and the children will also follow suit. But sometimes you can market to the gentlemen, then Once you market the gentleman, then the women refuse. You find that the gentlemen don't hold that strong power to, they just say because the woman has refused in some aspects. Okay, I was just giving you an example of how much impact the family has also on that. The social roles and the statuses. Now, with the social roles and the status, you can see that the position of an individual within the family, or his work, their country club, and their groups of friends actually can be defined in the terms of the roles and social statuses. So a social role is actually a set of attitudes and activities that an individual is supposed to have or do according to his profession or his position at work, or his position in family, his gender, or their expectations of the people around them. Those are social roles. For example, a consumer may buy a Toyota or a Nissan for the quality of the car, but also for the external signs of social success that this kind of a car represents. So let's talk about this a little bit. Let's be slow a little bit. You can see that the chief executive officer who is trying to drive a small car like a Toyota Vitz Ford, right, would be taken less seriously by customers and business partners than if that person is driving a Toyota Land Cruiser or VX on the German luxury cars, among others. So you can see that this kind of behavior and influences can be found at every level and for every role or social status. So again, many brands have understood it by creating an image associated with their product, reflecting an important social role or statuses. You can see that there are some products that have been created and the people have associated them with a certain characteristic or group of people or certain level of people. Personal factors. With the personal factors, these factors, they include variables such as the age, the life cycle stages, the occupation, the economic circumstances, lifestyle, that is for activities, interests, opinions, and demographics. These may explain why our preferences often change as our situations changes. So, right. So you can find that the decisions of uh, uh, people to buy or not to buy are influenced by the characteristics of each consumer. So let's look at the aspect of the age, right? How does the age contribute into the personal factors influencing the buying behavior? Age and the way of life, very important. So a consumer does not buy the same product or services at when they are 10 years, 15 years old, when they are 8 years old, 90 years. Usually there are changes in the tastes and preferences as the age changes, right? And of which most of you can bear witness to the truth that when you were still young children, the preferences, the things that you preferred, you added value on, you no longer add value this time around, right? Those things that you valued most, you thought these things really make sense. But as for now, those things no longer make sense. So you can see that as you grow, there are just changes in things that you like. Even the types of clothing, there are some clothes, maybe some styles of clothes, how should I say, some fashion that are associated to childhood, right? But when people grow up, they're like, no, we cannot associate ourselves. We can't wear such. Okay, just because of the age, the age doesn't allow you to wear such. Could I crack a joke? Is there anyone who can give us a practical example of such, a practical Zambian example in which this point applies, where as the age changes, people change in the preferences? Any example from anyone? You can easily turn on your mic and just comment. Give us a practical example. It could be on fashion, it could be on anything. You see that the buying has probably been influenced by age. Hello, are people far from the computers? Oh, they don't want to respond. Hello, do we have any example? Okay. People don't want to give us examples. All right, so lifestyles. Let's comment on the lifestyles. So the lifestyle of an individual includes all. Okay, kindly repeat the question. The question was, is there any practical example that you can give us of where people change what they buy because of age? Right, people have changed what they want to be buying just because of age. Yeah. What kind of goods, or any example that we can easily relate?
Yes, I think I can comment on that one. I think people change, especially sometimes clothes.
Okay.
As someone is aging, they also change the type of clothes that they buy.
Wow. Thank you very much. Yeah. So we can pick that example. Of course, there are few. For example, there are few 60 years old ladies that we, or women, old women that we have seen. 70 years old, they are wearing miniskirts. Okay, what do you think of picturing such a thing where a 70-year-old or a 60-year-old above, they are wearing miniskirts? Who does that? And then the few people would do that. I was just trying to pass a comment, but the key point is that age does influence our buying behavior. Occupation also influences our buying behavior. So the occupation of a person has a significant impact on their buying. So you can examine the current occupation of the person, and you will really agree to the fact that the occupation, what a person does, really impacts or influences what they buy. And the economic situation around does influence that. So the lifestyle of customers is another important factor affecting the consumer buying behavior. So the lifestyle refers to the way a person lives in a society and is expressed by the things in his or her surrounding. Usually it is determined by the interests, the opinions, and activities of people. It does shape the whole pattern of acting and interacting that the person has in the entire world. The personalities of the individuals also have got some impact, right? The personalities of a person has an impact on how they're going to respond to the buying behavior, or how they're going to respond, whether they're going to buy or not. Motivation is also one of, which is the psychological factors. They have an influence. We can borrow this from the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow did a research on how to rank the needs of the people around so that we can easily motivate them properly, right? So as he was ranking them, so the needs were ranked and grouped into some categories, okay? So let's look at motivation. So motivation is what will drive customers to develop a purchasing behavior. That is the expression of a need, which became pressing need. Let's say, for example, is there a need to buy this particular thing? right? Does it really satisfy, our desires? So the level of motivation does affect the buying behavior of individual. So you find that every person will have different needs, such as maybe the psychological, sociological, physiological needs, biological needs, social needs, among others. So those needs that they have are the ones that are going to influence their buying behavior or how they are going to buy. So if you understand that people have got different needs, then this will actually change the way how you market to people, because you have to study the people, study their needs, and then as you package your products, you can package them according to their needs. Even the perception, it does have an impact, right? By perception, we mean the process through which an individual selects, organizes, and interprets information they receive through their senses, right? That process is called perception. So the perception of a situation at a given time may decide if or how the person will react. So choosing, organizing, and interpreting information in a way to produce a meaningful experience of the world is actually called perception. So there are the different perceptual processes which are selective attention, selective distortion, and selective retention, right? These are the different perceptual processes. So in case of selective attention, marketers will try to attract the customer's attention. That's called selective attention, right? You want to attract the attention of the customers. Whereas in case of selective distortion, the customers will try to interpret the information in a way that will support what the customers already believe. Get that philosophy, that's very important in marketing. Right. So when you're dealing with selective distortion, the customers will try to interpret the information you have given to them as you are trying to make them aware of the product in a way that they will support what they already believe. It's called selective distortion. Right. Okay. Then what about selective retention? Right. So this is where the customers decide to whether retain and keep what has been given to them or throw it away. I mean, in terms of the information, what do they do with the information? So they piece, okay, can we keep this? Can we go and work with this or not? Learning is also an aspect that does impact the buying behavior. So you can learn through action. We know that when people act, we learn. We can learn. And so learning will change the behavior of us as individuals because of the information that we have acquired and experienced that will impact the way how we make decisions. For example, if you are sick after drinking milk, you had a negative experience, you will associate the milk with this state of discomfort, and you learn that you should not drink milk, right? Or if you don't buy milk anymore, you should not buy milk. So because of the previous experiences that we just had about a certain thing, we might end up just making the conclusion. And customers do that. So as a marketer, you should understand all those aspects. In marketing, it's important to understand that the belief system also has an influence on the decisions that people make. Through the belief system, actually, a belief is a conviction that an individual has on something, right? So you can see that through the experience they acquire or the learning, the external influences around, they will develop beliefs that will influence the buying, right? So in some belief system, let's take, for example, there are some people that have believed that it's just a belief system that maybe a woman shall not, they should not buy them. There are some societies that believe that a woman should not wear trousers, right? Then if that is the case, then you are selling trousers to such a society as a marketer. it will be very difficult for you, because the society has defined like that, and the general belief system of those people that dwell in that society is different. So the society actually believes that those people can they are not supposed to go for that. It would also include under this belief system the issue of religion, right? Religion would also impact. What does the Quran say? What does the Bhagavad Gita say? What does the Bible say to the Christians, among others? So you can see that religion and the belief system will have an impact on what you're selling. So you have to understand the type of the society that you're dealing with. Take, for example, you are selling, what do you call that sausage for pork? There should be, I like the name goes. What's the name of that sausage for pork?
Is it the Hungarian?
Yes, the Hungarian thing. Yeah. So now you are selling the Hungarian to the society that have a belief system that pork should not be taken. You lose as a business. Even if you are marketing, you have to understand all these things properly. It can help you even in the way how you target your market when you understand the belief system. The buying decision process is also very important to be understood as we draw closer. The buying decision process. It does start with number one, problem recognition. This is the first step in the buying process. Number one, problem recognition, information search, evaluation of alternatives, and purchase decision, post-purchase evaluation. There are 5 actually the stages that are involved in the buyer decision process. Okay. Let's talk about problem recognition, very important. So during, let's say, during the need or problem recognition, right? During problem recognition, the consumer recognizes a problem or that could be satisfied by a product or service in the market, the product that you're offering. So the problem recognition stage is actually the first stage of the buyer decision process. At this stage, the consumer will recognize the need or the problem. So the buyer will feel a difference between his or her actual state and some desired state. This could be as simple as, I am hungry, I need food, for example, right? It helps the consumer as you are marketing to realize the problem. That's why we teach you to study the consumers. That's why I give you all these things. Understand the environment. When you know what the problem that the consumer is going through, right? That customer is having, then you can appeal to them, right? I would give you this example. Have you seen those people that sell in town? For example, I think you can easily relate with this. When let me give one example that I give now. If it's cold, right, this time around, then you are wearing a shirt, you even walk like you are feeling cold, then you pass where they sell, you know, these jerseys. You do see how these people react, right? Those people who sell, because they have seen that you may be in problem, you need the jersey, right? Or sometimes maybe the belt that you're putting, if you're a male, is it doesn't seem to be well, or maybe it's so old, it looks tired. Then this guy is selling what? He's selling belts. They'll come closer to you and say, boss, the belt, you know? Ideally, those people they have realized that you have a problem. So they are reminding you of the problem, because that is the first stage. An individual is supposed to recognize the problem, make them realize that the stage where they are, there is a problem and they need to transit or move to another stage. I have a hand. Yes, sir. Your hand is up and we have recognized it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Actually, I just wanted to give another example on the problem recognition.
Yes,
If
sir.
you pass through the, if you pass near the barber shop and the barber man notes that you have wrong hair, maybe I'm wrong hair. They usually try to call you to say, they give that signal. Yeah.
Yes.
So they
Okay.
have actually identified the problem
Okay.
on you. Sure.
Okay. Thank you very much for that example. It's a good one. I never thought of it. Yeah. They see the hair. They say, Baba, the hair. You have to cut the hair. Do we have any example? Any other example from anyone else? The need, the problem recognition stage. A practical example. Okay. So as a marketer, you are supposed to identify the problem. Identify and help the customers to know that that is a problem. Because if you don't help them to know that it's a problem, they won't buy. It's not possible. They can't buy. They need to realize and show them if they buy, where they will be, that their problem will be solved. Okay? That's the whole idea of marketing. Let them see the problem that they are in and show them how it can be solved through your product or your service. Information search. Once the need is recognized, then the consumer is aroused to seek more information and they move into information search stage. So during the information search stage, they will try to search for more information about the product that you are offering and check if it will really satisfy their needs. The sources of this information, the information could be the personal sources, that could include family, friends, neighbors, and acquaintances. The commercial sources, that would include advertising, salespeople, dealers, packages, display. Sometimes they can also get this information from the public, right? They can get it from the public. Public sources would include the mass media, the social media, consumer rating organization. They seek information. And the experimental sources, it would include handling and examining. So under this stage, when they start handling or examining, that's the stage we are talking about, the information search stage. So once you have presented it as a problem, they have seen it to be a problem, right? They have been convinced that indeed it's a problem. So they want to search if what you are presenting to them is really true. At this stage, you have to be careful as a marketer, okay? These people have realized that they are in a problem they have to solve. So now at this stage, once you reach here, you help them reach here, show them how your product can solve that problem. Very important. So when you're marketing, first of all, show that people are in a problem. There is a problem somewhere. Then show how your product solves the problem at this stage. Then there will be the evaluation of the alternatives. That is the third stage. With the information at hand, then the consumer will proceed to alternative evaluation, during which the information, so that they'll try to check, the alternatives. Okay. Okay. Do we have any other alternatives apart from buying from this person? Is there anywhere else where I can buy from? Right? They will try to check around, check for the alternatives. The purchase decision, which is the fourth one. So under the purchase decision, this is where now, after they have compared with the other sources, then they just buy. So they buy. After they have bought, then there's the last, which is called the post-purchase evaluation. This is very important. Many people, you think they just, when they reach at purchase, once the customer has bought, then they forget about them. No. There is another stage which you call the post-purchase evaluation. At this final stage of the buyer buying decision, the post-purchase behavior or the consumer will take action based on the satisfaction or dissatisfaction. This is very crucial. So the consumer determines if they are satisfied or dissatisfied, okay, with the purchase outcome. So they will start asking themselves, did I make the right decision by buying from there or not? So as you are marketing as an individual, that's why product is part of marketing, I told you last time. Don't just focus on people buying, because just know that after the person has bought, they have their expectation. They'll have to check if their expectations have been met. And should your product fail to meet those expectations, then you are in danger, because they will not come next time and they won't recommend you to other people. So you have to care about that. There is also that particular stage. So the buyer process of the new product now, actually, number one, there is awareness, where a consumer is aware of the new product, but they lack information. Then the interest stage, which is actually when they get interest and they seek more information. There is an evaluation stage where they evaluate, and adoption stage. That is where the customer decides to make full and regular use of the new product. That's adoption process. Now, the product adoption process has got the cycles, and these would include the following. It's just more like a cave. They are what you call innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, and the laggards, the last ones. So with the innovators, these are venturesome. They take risks and always look out for new products offering unique experiences. These, they don't care. When you're when you're marketing this, they don't care about the product being new. Okay, they just want to test because it's a new product. They are after testing new things, right? They are not like those customers that stick to the brand. Then we have the early adopters. These, they are guided by the respect and often opinions. They are opinion leaders in their communities, the early adopters. Okay. The early majority, they are deliberate and only adopt after others have adopted. Those are early majority. And then the late majority, they are skeptical. These are usually risk averse. They are usually content with the status quo or the state of things. So it takes time for this. These are afraid of changing. They just want to keep on using the same thing or doing the same way they have been doing things. These are very slow to adopt the product. So you have to understand all that. That is very, very important. So to a consumer, there are 5 especially important product characteristics that affect the rate of adoption. These characteristics will help you to understand as you market, because they influence how fast the consumers adopt the product. Number 1, the relative advantage. This is actually the height to which the innovation appears superior to existing products. Is this thing really superior? Is it better than what is existing? So when you are setting the product, let it come out very powerful. Let it be superior in its own nature. That will determine how fast the people adopt it in the market. Compatibility, which is actually the degree to which the innovation fits the value or the experiences of the potential customers. The complexity is the degree to which the innovation is difficult to understand or use. Is it difficult to use? Right. That will also determine how fast that people are in getting it. Divisibility, which is the degree to which the innovation may be tried or limited bias, and the communicability, the degree to which the results of using the innovation can be observed or described to others. Because you cannot be dealing with this, for example, this product, it's very difficult to see whether it changed you because people want to see the effects. For example, let me talk about the example of lotion. Is this person has got a new lotion, and the lotion agrees with them, get that the lotion has made them, okay, they are now looking nice. Then the friends start asking, right? Oh, how are you doing this? Okay, how are you managing? No, I'm using, what lotion are you using? Okay, that's how easy is it. So you find that it's easy for the product to be assimilated if its effects can easily be what noticed, or can easily be absorbed and described by others. Are there any questions?